year 1999. How many have been listening to the news and understand that some very interesting phenomena are happening on our planet as we get away from the crazy people? No, I don't want to get away from the crazy people yet. Let's just go back to something else that the crazy people do before we now succumb to Mother Nature and Father God. Let's deal with this mankind, human thing. Thousands, if not millions, of United States armed service personnel went over to a place called the Gulf. And they fought a war called the Gulf War. And they came back victorious. They had defeated the madman Saddam. By the way, don't tell him I call him a madman. I'm quoting the psychotic individuals that you believe. Saddam Hussein said one thing. He said, we have won victory. This will be the mother of wars, and it's just beginning. He was not right. The Gaddafi line, the other imams lying. Only here, if you were so used to believing the liar, you don't understand what happened. They were not lying. When the Scud missiles went up and knocked out, those overflying, no good Islamic-built people's weapons, which were manufactured in the United States, sold to cabinet and given to them. So if you didn't like them, it's because you built them. Where did that come? That was not supposed to follow that, was it? So when the Scottish were, when you saw these things blow up on TV, and they said, we're winning the war, our boys are coming back. Tired yellow ribbon round your neck. I mean, the old tree. They're coming back home. They went over there, they fought the war, and they came back. Came back with all kinds of diseases that they gave to their women, that they gave to their men, that they gave to the unborn children for the next 250 years, full of contamination, radiation, and biological weapons, because those missiles were full of biological and radioactive nuclear chemical components, and they burst over the damn fools that shot them down in the first place. And you cheer. You never cheer war, because nobody wins. This creates hatred, and it goes on and on. They know that those Quonset huts that King Saddam had were full of biological weaponry and chemical weaponry. You know what I mean by biological and chemical weaponry? How many know what I mean when I say biological and chemical weaponry? How many aren't too sure? One person not too sure. I'm not either, brother. I'm not too sure either. Because they have so, when I went to school in chemistry, physical science, they had 92 elements on the table of elements. They got up to 100 and maybe 350 because they got meson and quarks now. The table of elements has grown. Those elements hold energy. And they actually go into laboratories and make up chemical things that can rot your skin, make your hair fall out, your digestive internals come outside your body, cancers and lesions and leukemia and everything come into you again, eyesight fail, corns and calluses and calcium deposits come extruding from your hair, and they can poison your DNA system for years to come and your reproductive system, so that later on, you have to have children, you can have some aliens from outer space for babies. Or whatever, because you won't want to clean the child and fetus that grows off of those kind of proliferations. They also have biological organisms, those are chemicals. Now they have biologicals. What state am I in? Don't say what state of mind am I in. I told you I'm neurosis, but don't play with me. What state am I in? South Carolina. Do you have any water anywhere close to a large body of it somewhere that you used to go to the beach at? Do you? What's the name of that big body of water? What was they group? I know the big. What's the name of it? Yeah, there was some name I couldn't think of. The Atlantic Ocean out there. How many of you been to the beach recently? How many swam in the water recently? How many eat some fish off your waters recently? The home fish? You did. I watch you, brother. You dangerous in more ways than one, man. Okay. You know that your 5 governors, Maryland, Virginia, Carolinas, just met to declare your whole beach area a disaster area and nobody wants to buy your fish? Ever heard of the red tide? Fish down here. little thing that is so beautiful in the waters that big whales and sharks, those killers, are running scared, beaching themselves. Octopi, everything's coming out of the water. It's all up and down the coast. It's now going around Florida. I just left California talking to those people. They know what I was talking about. The phone's been ringing off the hook. It is good. He's sending me to places to try and awaken people. This little thing, which they, oh, by the way, they don't know where it came from. They don't know where it came from. It just was there. God is bad. His spirit is just cursing everything. They don't know anything about all those canisters of radioactive waste that they dumped into the ocean, they dumped into the Gulf of Mexico, all the aluminum from the industry that is one of the most despicable ever formed, the aluminum industry that they dumped into the Gulf of Mexico, all the fish and the natural predators that they killed off to eat these things up, all the shrimp that they gave to you to eat so they couldn't eat up these other things and the beast digested. But they don't know where it came from. It's like they don't know where El Nino came from. Get to that too. Now here we have down here a little thing that looks like a plant, and it actually grows, a unicellular organism. It gets prolific for a while through mitosis, and as this plant grows, it reaches a stage where it becomes a great big plant with flowers. But it forgot how to make flowers and how to become a great big plant. It says, I don't like being a plant. I want to change my whole phylum. I want to be an animal. And now this plant becomes an animal that can swim and then walk out of the water and walk on the beaches and climb piers and walk on fish, and you too. Did anybody see the ABC special roughly about a month ago where they captured one of these things? How many saw the ABC special? 1, 2, let me see hands. Yeah, few people, many people up here again. Okay, few people. They showed on television this little organism they captured, and they had it in a tank. They got some human blood, and they put 3 drops into there, and that thing went across the tank like a shark. Gone, the blood was gone, it was down there and got bigger and started flowing. Isn't that nice? Oh, what woeful be we, first we practice to deceive. And these people who really think that they're gods, better learn what gods know. That is to respect the Creator, very humble. All they want is attention. They're getting it. Not just yet. Just yet. There's no question. I don't want to be. Just try to hold it if you will. We have a lot to go. Long Q&A if Mr. Bull allows it. That is simply called the red tide. Research it. It's everywhere. And your state, in North Carolina and South Carolina, were the first ones to get it. It started in North Carolina, detected there, and it spread. So you have the best choice of contamination. It can come into your water supply. It can come in there. I hope it doesn't mutate and be able to fly. Right now it can walk and swim. It can change phylum from a plant to an animal. No such people ever been heard, ever before heard on earth. But now it's here, it's in your state. This is the 5 governors of each state. That is 2 weeks ago. May still be meeting. They got a problem. Interesting, too, that as we're talking about all of these things going down, out at the equator, in the other ocean, what's the name of the other ocean? You help me with the Atlantic. What's the other? Pacific. I knew there was something about that. Thank you very much. We all know where that is, don't we now? We can identify Pacific Ocean, West Coast, out there with those crazy nuts in California, and those approval people in Oregon, right? Away from you, so if it's away from you, it can't bother you over here in this coast, can it? Like what you do in this coast isn't going to bother anybody in California, is it? Huh? You're right. El Nino. Anybody ever heard that? How many speak Spanish? How many speak Latin and all this kind of thing? Latinos and Hispanic people again. Okay? Well, El Nino means little what? Boy. Why do they want to name this thing El Nino? Why can't it be El Nino? La Nina? Something like that. El Nino, the hot one. That's why because it's the hot ones, women don't get hot. So this is El Nino, the hot boy. Remember it now, you remember the hot boy is down there near the equator in the Pacific. They're saying that this thing down there near the equator in the Pacific is 1.5 times the width. Goes from what is it again here? Carolinas to California of the United States. And again, at least 1,300 miles wide. It's growing, by the way. It is a hot area there in the middle of the cold ocean that is expanding and moving from the equator up north by degrees. As it expands and moves upward, fish that were cold natured are running from it. So now you have sharks, sperm whales, porpoises, and everything coming up there near Oregon. But to go sail fishing now, you don't have to go to the Bahamas. Just go out the coast of Oregon, put your line into the water. Don't pull back too hard. Natural predators are moving, creatures that used to be at home and in their latitudes, longitudes that they could adjust to, are now being found everywhere. Don't go swimming to the beach, you might have a shark there. But the shark might be running from the little red tide faster than you can. He might leave you alone and you say, ha ha, and then boy, that's humor in a juggler thing. I told you I wasn't neurotic. I hope you join me before you join my enemies who are psychotic. They're working at you hard. They want you. It's important to them. You have a social security number. They know you. They'll change if they can. While that's going on, did you recently learn that this just happened 3 weeks ago, that during a meeting of the National Chemical Society, they finally said, United States government, come clean. By the way, who's the United States government? What is the United States government? Our government by the people, for the people, and shall not perish. But no, wait, you are the government, right? I bet you don't know it, because you wouldn't enact some of these laws that you're enacting, would you? They're saying again that the United States government did nuclear tests in a place called Nevada. Is that anywhere close by? Everybody know where Nevada is? Yes. Is that in the United States? Yes. That's something that we should be identifying with if we people that live in the United States. Kind of close to home? They said that nuclear tests back in Nevada between 1944 and 1970 leaked. And that literally 7 million people got radiated. And they're even giving up some monies if you can prove you lived in these certain areas as if the cloud stayed still. Wasn't windblown. Because they had winter tests, summer tests, all kinds of tests. And the ones underground contaminated underground water, and they're telling you now, 30 years later, that some of the water you may have been drinking from the underground streams may be radioactive. And they talk about Alzheimer's. They talk about cirrhosis of the liver. They talk about lymph system and jaundices and tumors and cancers and all these things going. So when do we have a lymph system? They're telling you now that dating back to 1970, and they had some sneak testing, that the things leaked and they came over the United States. That means you had radioactive clouds falling down on your gardens, your home, your loved ones, your head, your water, your food, everything else, your dog, your cats, your cars, and they never told you about it because they said the tests were safe. And you know, the best way to protect yourself from an atomic bomb is to duck and cover. Well done. Still testing that. Isn't that what they used to teach us? That's the first thing they taught back in the 40s. If you hear the flash, and if you see the flash, before you hear the sound, you duck and cover. You know some fools did? And they still are. They're still in the cover. They never came up. They lost their mind. They must have. To allow this and to participate in this. You know how these things get built? They get built in factories. People work at them. The only thing they don't tell the end production line, senior design engineer, what the end product will be, but everybody goes there and works. And when you work for these companies, what do you think you're building? You ask yourself? No, you don't, because you want the money. And you don't mind that because you have to make money some kind of way. Well, a lot of people did. They built these devices. These devices are now going off and they're being used. Somebody had to put those biologicals and those chemicals into those tubes and into those missiles. So now that we have this going, they now find out that there are 80 to maybe 100 or 105 suitcases that got lost. And they lost my suitcase a couple of times when I came into the airport, you know that? And I got completely teased because I don't have too many clothing when they take my suitcase or whatever I want it back before some other gremlin gets it. Even if it was my ignorant fault for not picking it up in time, I still want it back, wouldn't you? If you lost something, would you want it back? If it was of value and you just lost it, how long do you think it would take you to really get active? Say let's just had $5,000 in it, all your suits and dresses that you need, your new clothing, and your bank account, and your credit card. You think you'd report it? You think you'd get after it right away? Yeah. Oh, why am I going through all these machinations? You know I got something following up, don't you? Yeah. What do you think it is? They lost 80 to 100 nuclear bombs containing briefcases. They had nuclear devices in it that would take out 2 kilometers if detonated. 2 kilometers, by the way, is roughly 2 miles square. Anywhere that they detonated. And they got 100 of them missing. I'm sorry, 80 to 106 of them missing. They don't know what happened to them. They got lost at the checkout, at the assembly thing. They got lost. I mean, they're not as thorough as you when you have something like an atomic device that can take out. They just lost it. It was in Russia, and of course there is no more Russia. You believe that, right? There's no more Union of Socialist Republics, right? Russia doesn't exist, right? Did you see all the Russian troops at the Olympic Games? Down in Fort Hood, Lower Saskatchewan? But they don't exist anymore. All of these devices now are all around, and you got 100 people can walk around, they can take out. How many miles? Well, that's happening. A lady walks into a hospital in San Diego, another one on the coast, and she's complaining of having burning things. They think maybe it's gastritis or ulcers or something. And while she's there, her flesh begins to burn off and the smell comes out, and everybody in the ward gets contaminated. They finally have to evacuate her, and they had to close the hospital down. You hear about that? Yeah. Person burned from the inside out, just like sulfuric acid or mercury has been putting in there with the person's life. And stink? They can't understand what happened. She'd only been under radioactive treatment and experimental treatment again, and I bet you know the best place to go if you got something wrong. To a big major university's research hospital and get the best treatment. I have the best one in the city I live in. It's called the University of Chicago. And they have the University of Chicago hospitals, and people are knocking themselves down to go in there and get help and get treatment. Right on there it says research hospital. And it says on there, family practice. I guess you thought family practice was something else, didn't you? They're licensed to practice medicine, but you know that, don't you? And they get the best little brains from all the Asiatic world, Islamic world, Canada, Europe, everything else, to come over there, and they give them all the money they want to research. And then you say, I'm going here for treatment because this is the best facility I can. And then you say, they're going to give you exploratory surgery, but first they're going to give you a lot of chemical analysis. I'm getting tired of paying this picture. But if I don't make you think, you won't listen to the rest that I'm going to tell you. Are you thinking?
Oh, yeah.
Are you listening? If you're listening, would you raise your hands, please? Oh, you're with me. Well, you sure you want to come in here, Blair? Well, maybe you shouldn't. They've better been wise, but you're trapped now. How many have heard of Codex Alimentarius? Codex Alimentarius. Makes me feel a student. Codex Alimentarius. Can you say that? Codex Alimentarius. They thought you couldn't pronounce it, so they simply created it in Germany. They meet now 2 times a year. This is the 2nd year. What they want to do is what they just did, or tried to do, up in Canada. Up in Canada, they did a very interesting thing. they sent an inspector out to a health food store, the biggest one in Canada, and it's a chain. It's called the Big Carrot. Anybody ever heard of this incident before? So whenever you think to do that. But this happens. It's a sign of the times. Canada's largest health food store, which everybody knows about in Canada, the inspector came in there and he said that 2/3 of the things that they had in there were contaminated and would be harmful for public consumption. They were going to close the place down. The local talk show host got it, the press got it, and the people across Canada went up in arms because this is one of the biggest health food stores up there. It was the only product of choice other than going to a pharmaceutical, apothecary thing. And so because of that, they backed down. They said they were confused with another company. In fact, what do they call the company? A supplement manufacturer with the name of Big Carrot. They were confused. They wanted to close them up. Under Codex Alimentarius, by the year 1999, or the end of next year, they will close down all health food stores. They will close down all manufacturers and purveyors of it unless they are licensed to sell to either AMAs through the FDA, or you go to your neighborhood Walgreens and pharmaceuticals to get your vitamins, and then they will cut the prescription in half because they said what they're selling you is, again, quackery, because they can't do any good with that hopes. That's not a joke. The United States is controlled by these fellows because the United States owes them money. And they will allow it to happen. That gives you 1 year or 1 year and a half to either get busy and throw the demons out that are voting for it, or stock them away somewhere that you can get to them. And then it'll be just like dope, contraband. You got it. But it may save your life. Codex Alimentarius. Want to say it again? Codex Alimentarius. Want to say it again? Right, so, sorry, I didn't want to say it again. But you might want to. That's the name of this part of the UN nation thing. This is what they also have planned. The Ring of Fire, a group of volcanoes in the northwest Pacific, beginning to rumble. Italy just had 5 earthquakes in less than 5 days. 2 churches in Italy have crumbled, and the statues, Jesus, Mary, and other saints, are crashing to the ground. Tremors are reverberating from that. How many of you knew that? Talk about signs. You got red plagues from the sea. You got some kind of shots that are causing people to burn from the inside out. You got churches, Christian churches, Catholic churches toppling. 5 earthquakes in a row, the seat of the Vatican. You know all about Indonesia, right? The plane that crashed, killing some 225 people. And then what happened right after that? Floods and fires. You got thousands of people now burning to death and being flooded out. There's 2 elements combined in Indonesia alone, as we speak. You know what's happening throughout Africa, right? And hell has now another personage in the form of Buddha Seko Seko. You know anything about King of Diana? Only thing I say, well, you know he's dead, right? He died at the same time that Princess Di was killed. And you dismissed all these things I'm saying, right? You believe that Princess Di, that was a terrible price because she was 3 months pregnant by a black man? You believe that? Well, you guys just believe everything you hear, don't you? Except what I'm saying. And of course, you know, Mabuto Seko is a guy that for 13 pieces of... I gotta stop talking metaphorically. Let me just explain, because I have a way of making humor out of things that aren't humorous. So let me give you the cold hard facts. Mabuto Seko was this king of Zaire that allowed 2,000 of his people to be given AIDS, and that's why they say it came out of Africa and Zaire. He allowed this thing through the World Health Organization to be done. Okay? But he rotted 5 gallows. I have no mercy on the man. He went around with a guard of 800 people in helicopters. That's enough. Taking different cars to work every time. But so many people hated him. Well, hell is too good a place for him. But he died along with some other people that died. Salty died. Of course, the nurse, their name again, that worked in the Indian people there. Mother Teresa died. And Princess Di was killed.
Yeah.
was a good security man. You don't mess over the Queen. Ni&ntilde would have your head, right? Yeah, not with me. Anyway, Chase car comes up, bumps him. This car that they had, there's two models of it. They didn't say that they had an inferior model because they had switched it. But he knew what the capability of that car was. That car picked up speed and balanced as you hit 100. It didn't get worse. The steering mechanism got grounded when he hit the work. This guy was speeding along. And that's the first thing they see, any security man. Again, when pursuit like the car, you take off. If you got a good car, you outrun them. Because you don't know what may be awaiting you. Well, they didn't. That oil slick and gasoline slicks and all down there, they hit that, went out of control. And as he was still trying to steer to that, because his construction truck backs up and stopped right there, and that thing was loaded with concrete, we need to smash, he had no choice. She lived till they cut her thigh, like they did the same stewardess in the Ron Brown incident. And she died after they cut her thigh, just like the stewardess in Ron Brown died when they picked her up by helicopter. Oh, you know Ron Brown? How many knew Ron Brown by name? The only thing wrong with Ron Brown is that he believed he was Secretary of the Commerce. Well, he did. They told him he was. He believed it. That was his mistake. Right? He knew dirt on the president. He knew dirt on what they did with Israel and all the money they gave to her. He knew dirt what they were taking away from Africa. He knew dirt what they were giving to the Japanese people, the Asiatics, who want to take over this land too. By the way, in 1999, there will be no more Japan at the end of it, about September of 99. Priests of Osaka have told them this. That's why they're buying up everybody's country and everybody's land, and they're coming here by the millions. Because the Japanese islands are being washed away. There are over 11,000 tremors per minute in Japan as we speak. From the island of Osaka to the mainland on. They have no lands. They're desperate. They have money. They have one of the best supplied armies and technology on the face of the earth, and they now are aligned with China. So you don't know such thing as red China anymore, right? Blue China now. Are you following half the things I'm telling you folks? And just go research if you think that I'm crazy. I told you I was neurotic to begin with. I am not psychotic. They are. You soon will be, unless you take some action. Now let's get down to the acts of nature and what you may be able to do. First of all, I wear in my pocket my company sells, don't manufacture it, but we're trying. Get this thing out of my pocket. A simple dial. Simple dial. I can give you dial demonstrations, experiment if there's time later on. If not, then at least we sell them. This dial will protect you from radiation from computers, television sets, microwave ovens, cell phones, hair dryers, and all other things that emit radiation. Any of those plugs there will give you out from 6 to 12 inches worth of radiation all the time. That's why when you plug something into it, they work. I don't go home without, I don't leave home without it. Okay, it's a dial, folks. It's coming too fast. It protects you. Cost of this one, $27.95. Tell you the secret that some manufacturers don't, because they want you to buy it from you. Put it in indirect sunlight, full spectrum light, and it recharges itself. Keep working until it melts and the thing starts turning white, then you can throw it away. It should last you at least a year. Now, if you're living under an overhead power line, and Edison Company just put up a generator, and you're going to an office building with only 400 computers on each floor, please don't expect the dial to do the impossible. You might need two dials, okay? So please, buy two dials. Honest. You're worth it, even if you think you're not. Dials. One under each pocket. But I like best because they can put dials in it. Hide stuff I can put up under the shirt and all this stuff as I protect myself as I fly in these stupid planes. As I take airline trips to a wonderful place like, where am I? Where am I? You're ashamed of your city? Tell me where I am. I told you I was Nevada. They protect me. from Alzheimer's, so I don't have to lose my mind like this so much. They protect me. They can protect you too. You put one on the back of the chassis of your TV set, your computer, your microwave oven, your toaster. By the way, too, if you're using microwave ovens, I suggest you give your worst enemy a Christmas present, your microwave oven. Huh? Our Easter gift? Birthday present? They say that they're safe, right? EL approved and checked out. They have interlocks and safety features, right? There's 1 second as you open an interlock where it escapes, plus the fact it's plugged into your wall. It's supposed to break down how much current comes in, and you always have it in there with the back of your refrigerator, which has open coils, freon gas, and pipes, right? Right? Just think what that might mean. You really want to burn down a building right quick? Break the internet. Well, I shouldn't say that. I can't really say that. But that tells you how to create a weapon. Can't tell you that. But if you got a microwave, maybe you do more than cook food with it. By the way, microwave poison works from ELF, extra low propagating waves, and work from the inside out. They cook your tissues. When you see the blister outside, you got no inside. It's like Alien 1. When you see it come out, you're gone. These will protect you from it. Simple things. We keep it at this price so everybody can buy it. And we even got one a little bit lower price if you don't want to get the equipment diode. It's a little bit thinner. Sometimes the ladies like to wear them in a bra. Therefore, it's a little bit thinner again. It does not give quite protection, but it is effective. You can put them all over your body. You start them on the left side because energy enters the left, magnetic, exits the right. You get 2, you put it on the other side. You get 3, you put it here. You get 4, you put it over there. Diodes, you can still buy them. They'll probably ban them soon. By the way, too, they repel electronic-driven scanners. They don't let you scan things, do they? I have on my finger magnetic ring 2 1,000 Gauss magnets on my finger. I have about that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 magnets. That's 5,000 Gauss with the magnetism right there. I have over here 1, 2, 3, 4 on my leader, my main artery, which magnetizes my body, helps my brain to function better, doesn't let me get as fatigued as others, protects me when I'm up in them stupid airplanes again, and magnetizes my body by making the oxygen molecule, which attaches to the hemoglobin, the red cells, and Brother Africa talked about that, in my blood, because the oxygen attaches to the iron, and the magnet attaches to the iron itself. So now we can oxygenate where we want to. You got a break or a sprain, instead of just putting a support on it again, put one of our Velcron strip binders again, put it over there so that now the wound heals faster, breaks and fractures heal in half the time, pain goes away in sometimes 15 seconds to 3 minutes. And if you've got back braces, like we also have here, you can also help the low back pain, of the spinal pain, and if you really love yourself and want to spend some money, get our magnetic mattress pad and sleep on a field of magnetism all night long. Heals you from head to toe, works with the pineal gland at night, means better, gets sight better, and heal faster. And in fact, if they were really doing you right, that's what they'd have in the hospitals, magnetism, because that's what you like. We sell those devices. We have 60 different kind of magnets, 40 different kind of diodes. We even have diomids, double pyramid shaped things with 25 of these in the base, the equivalent of it. Protects 60 yards in all directions from incoming ELF propagations. You can still buy it for $100. Protects your whole home or anything 60 yards around if you got an office. Of course, the cell phones, which of course is a status symbol and a necessity. Only time you don't like a cell phone is when it doesn't work. Only time it doesn't work when it has a low charge, or you're going from cell to cell and you lose your incoming signal. So you want something to boost that. You hold it right by your head with the antenna up. It boosted it. Boosted you too. Guy that owned Craft Crew, the black guy, died about 4 years ago. Here's his name now. He was Reginald. There he goes. Pan-Africanism is going to make Africa rich because he was going to start really employing the really native Africans And he also held conferences talking about what he could do, almost like Ron Brown, same kind of thing. And then they gave him one of the best cell phones around. They guaranteed him he would not lose his signal for more than 10 seconds. And he didn't, and he died of an advanced brain tumor that was not detectable 30 days before he started using it. But a really fried range, put that antenna signal and put a large. And what do you think is drowning out that antenna that you hold up as you talk? I saw a young lady in a store. She really had status. I really felt for her. I really looked up to her because she was going to float. She was walking through the aisle. It was an important conversation. She was talking on her cell phone. With neon lights and freon gas and metal under that store and humidifiers. And she was walking and talking. She had status. And I said, boy, I hope that conversation is worth it. And I sincerely hope it was. One diode on the back of that cell phone taped on the base unit. You're protected. It's that simple. Why don't they tell you about these things? Why don't they tell you how you can cut your healing time in half by wearing magnets? Why don't they tell you can cure breaks and have you got whatever elements you have in your body that can make it for phosphorus, magnesium, calcium, things like this, can make it bind better with the magnetic field there. Why don't they tell you about liquid oxygen that you can buy? We carry. You can put into your water and kill off almost all kinds of so-called Lambda-Ebola, Ebola, and other types of germs and bacteria. Purify the water and you can take it with you. Have about 2 drops of a very putrefactive type thing per ounce, 1 drop per ounce otherwise, and you can at least have something that can make your water drinkable. Now, it's not going to take out the radiation in it, but it should take care of anything else. All these things that they're telling you about that are harmful have a left spin. They go counterclockwise to the planetary rotation of Earth, which is a right spin. Cancer cell. Contact a cancer cell, have it in your body, and watch the cancer cell begin to shrink. With the living off of your other cells. Stable cells have pairs of electrons. They lose one and become unstable. Free radicals. I just told you about free radicals. All your cells can become free radicals if you're drinking poison water, eating microwave foods, watching TV sets and all, and you don't balance out your field. Alzheimer's, they have no idea what Alzheimer's is. First they said aluminum and metal contamination. Where did the metal come from? Every time you open up a can of pop, every time you open up a can and you use this concept, you're drinking metal. If you ever ask yourself what happens when you cut that can open to the metal and aluminum? Phosphoric acid, sure, take your breath away. Breathe it when you, no, don't breathe it when you first open up. I'm just joking. And phosphoric acid burns your brain cells. It burns and takes in oxygen and putrefies it. Everything they give us is wrong. Go up and down the aisle sometime and don't stay in the stores too long because they have the cameras on you. In the aisle too long, out on big open pockets, you'll have some funny looking people not shopping. But they'll be following you. Nothing's in their cart, but you are in their minds. And they blow you up on those big video screens. They're not joking, they can amplify you, see everything you got. Oh, by the way, too now, when you come into the stores now, you have scanners. It used to be when you left, you had scanners. They want to see if you stole something from somebody else, right? To the store. No, they're analyzing your credit card and they know again who you are, what you might buy, and your favorite habits. They got you on the screen when you walk by. It's in your back pocket, it's got aluminum strips. They even know how much money you have, but the ones that are stripped and coated, they know more about you as they tell you, folks. You running to hide. No, they already know more about you than you know. It costs to stay alive. Sister Bull said, you got to have the credit card. You got to have a system. They got that system down. Technological genius. Summation. Because of the things that human and mankind are doing on this planet, and original man doesn't seem to know who he is, planet has had enough. Planet says it's time to act. One other thing, it's time to give you summation. If you wonder where the concentration camps are, look for public storage depots. They're usually tan and orange, or brown and orange, and they're all over the United States, and they're growing in number. Walk by, they even have the American flag, and the state flag, a weather testing balloon up there, and a microwave oven again to short where you're going, and usually some kind of Jeep, all-terrain, four-wheel vehicle. If it's not camouflaged, it's just sitting there watching you. And watch all the people that come and get their bedroom sets and living room sets in and out of those things. One a year. Okay, one a month. All right, one a week. But they have storage bins there, storage bays there, little garages for 500 people. I'm sorry, 500 pieces of furniture. And they call it public storage, they're not lying. Orange and brown, that's what color they are. Usually by railroad tracks, waterways, and they usually re-pour with steel treads the concrete all around them because they don't want any heavy family loads getting bogged down in the asphalt when you try to move out your furniture. Are you with me? You see, you wish you were. See how ironic you can become if you're still with me? I warned you. With all of these things going on, and by the way, in the Aleutian Islands, that's up there near Alaska, we had one of these hurricanes 2 years ago, thank the Creator, because at that time they wiped out a whole set of prison camps that had no heating facilities, and it gets to be 37 degrees below zero. And what do you think the husband all does was that they allowed that thing to leak for 3 weeks? You bought that too? What happened to the captain? Walking free and rich. Chastised. You go out and kill all that livestock. No, if that heavy machinery come up there, nobody even questioned it. People that did are dead. Aleutian Islands Project. Talk about Global 2000, that's where they're going to put half of that 2,000. Wasn't 2,000, by the way, it's 20,000. I'm sorry, 3 million. Whatever figure they have, that's where they're going to put it. Something wiped them out, something didn't like it. The planet is alive. She's a lady. She's called Dia, Ceros, Terra, the Barrel. She's had many names, depending on how good you are in your history about the planet that you live on. She's a female in expression now. She's been messed with an awful lot. She feels that just the people who are not cancerous to her are not doing much to support her, that the people that are cancerous to her need eliminating or are in for a change. They need to have their lives lifted up. A sign that she was going to get help came about with a comet that came not too long ago. It was called Hale-Bopp. William Hale and Richard Bopp. Full scientists, amateur one professional, that saw this comet in the sky, a sign for the future. Comets are planets in dissolution, with the inner sun streaming out from its tail. Once that happened, the asteroid belt began to reverberate, and it meant it was time for our solar system to undergo a great change. I can name you certain august bodies of secret societies that run the government when it was the American government, that knew all of this better than you, and are already preparing to run, so they just can't hide. Try to go to the moon, they'll try to go to Mars. Won't go to Sirius, they might try to play this, and that's why he sells you all the stupid Pleiadian books. I'm sorry, that's why they let you know that the Pleiadians are your friends. Even though in all of Barbara Martinez's books, she tells you that they're deceivers. You didn't hear that, did you? Why don't they print books about black spacemen from Sirius? I met them. Why don't they have books about that? I didn't write it. But nobody else has had the experience. Experience. Folks, the Ring of Fire is a group of volcanoes, northwest Pacific. They would include Mount St. Helens. They would include, in fact, I'll give you exactly that. I think I got them down because I said I was going to be thorough with this one because I know we'll be back here. And so here it is again. Mount Baker, Mount Rainier, Mount Shasta, Lassam, and 11 other groups. They're beginning to tremor. Granite structures all throughout the United States, secret places, Tillamook, Giza Plateau, Stonehenge, are beginning to give off resonant vibratory emissions. There's a hum, there's a sound the animals are hearing. The animals are running. Whole species you don't see anymore now. They're picking up the tune. Only with an advanced or open pineal gland can you pick up the tumor. They're getting their warning sign as we speak. It's not going to come later. It's happening. You're living it. Chose to be alive at this time. Our planet's electromagnetic field is changing from an electrical field to a magnetic field, and you should be very glad. Every time they tell you that the ozone hole is open, they say hallelujah and thank you with your favorite minister about to give them time. Pay to pray. This doesn't cost you a cent. Time is doing it for you. Who in the world ever heard of persons with an advanced pineal gland and melanin worried about full spectrum light and ultraviolet light? All that happens to a person with melanin and an active pineal gland and a melanocyte is that that site takes in those spectrums that it can use and darkens, as was already pointed out to you, granulating you, and you get blacker and blacker and more receptive, and your sight ability grows. For at night, the pineal gland works like the moon works, and that you have deep dreams, that you remember your dreams, works on all of your systems to cure them. If you speak on a magnetic macroscope, it will even do it better, and that you remember who you are. Some have to be awakened by crop circles. Others have sacred geometry in their very DNA structure. I don't know which ones you are. You're still listening to me, I hope. Hope for all of us. They tell you to worry about the ozone. Pray that it comes over your city tomorrow. And then you worry about it. They tell you you should be worried about many things. Only thing you need to be worried about is humans, mankind. Creator is always been consistent. What you see, what you get. But 4 or 5 cosmos to deal with, I don't think the Creator is trying to deceive you. Humans deceive you every time you look the other way. And if you don't know what to do when a human tells you to do something, or mankind suggested, just do opposite of whatever they tell you. If they put a gun on you, wait and do something drastically after they take the gun off of you. If you don't know what to do, don't do what they tell you to do. That's the best thing I can tell you. Wherever they suggest you go, please go the other way. They tell you look up, look down. Drink it, swallow it, throw it away. They tell you to work your sleeve and get shots, hit them with the needle and say, let's see what happens to you first. Did you know that even some of these good doctors, and I guess there are people, I'm not going to test them out, I guess there are people, don't buy, they don't even know what's in these syringes. They come fully packed out of Japan and into people ship phrases like that. They come fully packed syringes. I've been told there are chips in some of them. How would they know? Little macroized chips, I'm not talking about big wood chips like the diet. They just give the shots. They don't know what's in them. They don't manufacture these things. That's the fact the apothecary supervisor that sends out the salesman gives them a shot for the month, or the pill for the day. Get more money when they say you that. Planet's tired of it if you're not. Planet says we will change this field from an electromagnetic field to a magnetic field. And we will let the people who are good grow stronger and wiser. What geneticists, genealogists, research scientists call junk DNA, that's all throughout your bloodstream and your cells, is not. Creator never made junk. Some people who thought they were God made some people who turned out to be junk. You're not them. This junk DNA can go up to 22 strands, not 12, like your Palladian book lied and told you, for those who believe Father and Messianic. 22 strands. And they can all intertwine like a great big oak tree, and they can grow, and once they grow, they connect with all the little wirings off your central nervous system through the medulla stem, and they awaken you to live in your astral body, to awaken the Merkaba, to be able to travel in any dimension you want and withstand any frequency you want when they're operative, and then you are a God. Since they know it, and they knew it by the shape of your head, that's why they told you don't study chronology. Since they knew it by your blood type, and they tell you you can't cross green. They tell you again you got RNA, ribonucleic acid, dinucleic acid, and they can't cross mass. They better cross mass because that sets up your magnetism, which will make your tree of life grow. That's what your Ka-Ba is really all about. Are you listening to me? Okay. Do you hear me? I didn't ask you if you believe me. Only the Creator can find truth. I can't tell you the truth. You've got to find that. But I'm going to give you a whole lot of research real quickly. Pay you for the money you spent, And thank you for your time in the best way I can by giving you information. As El Nino, which is nothing but the radiation that they put on the bottom of the sea, has caused sea serpents to swim now in the Straits of Madagascar off the east coast of Africa and attack submarines, just like in the movies, and a big battle cruiser, which means it can move many knots, took the thing over and sunk it. They traveled in pairs. We had a flood recently in Chicago. Before the flood, the mayor of our city, after they killed Mayor Washington, the mayor of our city said he wanted to make a little landing strip or mixed field into a swamp, marsh land. A swamp, marsh land. The city council, of course, he wears them on his panties. I'm sorry, he wears them on his coattails anyway. They said, yes, make it a swamp, marsh land. Why, Mr. Mayor? I'm supposed to. Right, let's do it. Now, they want to turn Chicago, I'll give you a good example here, into some kind of a gambling mecca. But all the potentates and all the guys that are cheating and all the guys that can drop $1 million a night want to fly in and fly out outside of major airports. Why would they take a landing strip, we have a beautiful coast, we had one right there in Chicago, into a swampland? Well, the flood brought it out, but some people missed it. The flood brought out three things. That FEMA has a contract with Chicago from the last flood. Two, that Chicago is now considered an international port. It's at the base of the Great Lakes. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior, it's at the base of the Great Lakes. It's an international port now governed by Mason's maritime law and international law, which means that the New World Order already runs the city of Chicago, which means that they suppress the state. You know, they just got rid of the governor, which means that they now run the United States of America. I'm sorry, United States. America is no more. They're the new militia fighters, the fall guys, the people you learn to hate, you know nothing about. Coming our way is a huge planet. Those of you who are deep know the name of the planet, but the great times there. There's a reason why people have feared the 13th planet for the longest. It's why they have triskaidekaphobia. There's an orbit that's eccentric. It comes around 312,000 years. When it comes around, it stays around. Upright walking serpents live on it. They spy on mankind and have people who wouldn't stand up their own do the work for them, and they're coming back to claim it. Why do you think they have mutant ninja turtles? Who in the heck cares about an ugly turtle that mutated? I see ugly turtles walking around all the time. I think they're mutated. Why do you think now they have serpents everywhere that you look? Who in the heck cares about crocodiles and serpents? Why all these toys that kids really don't like, but they told you they did, so you bought it for Christmas because TV, which you can put a blank frame every 45 seconds and make anybody do anything you want, told them to. Huh? Huh? That's called subliminal control. They also have brainwashing. They're telling you about lizards and crocodiles and serpents and mutant ninja turtles. And who cares about Tyrannosaurus Rex coming back? Why would you want the damn thing back? Who wants something with grinding teeth like a shark, incisors, 40 to 50 feet tall, able to leap a whole city block if you think you're going to run it, so you guys really practice with the crowd control? Who wants them? Who gives a blank about that Tyrannosaurus Rex coming back? What all the movies showing? What are they showing? Tyrannosaurus Rex, reptiles. Why do you think they are doing that? For no reason? Why do you think they're showing you these movies about mimic? Then there's something about contact, which is a little beautiful. Then they take you back again to crowd control. Drawing number 5. T-Rex. Sidearms, saddle bars, and a whole bit. And the kids are eating it up. They're telling you that our time of reckoning is near once more. The report from Iron Mountain on Area 51, which was not just about how people are overpopulating the earth And the report that told you the compact was signed by Dwight David Eisenhower and a man by the name of Crow from the Alien Society said that they would swap people on this planet for technology. They have been given technology. You're missing people. What do you think happened after Watts? You ask yourself what happened to all those people out there? What do you think is happening with all these ships that are going down now? Fortunately, now they're military craft, because the magnetic poles are changing, and the compasses won't work, and they're failing. They put the most advanced ones on these fighters and bombers. Bell is tolling even for them who think they're gods, but they're not. If you're a god, you better let them know when the planet turns against you. Soon, people without melanin or an advanced melanocyte will not be able to live on the surface of this planet unless they live in holes or in spaces. People with melanin will get stronger and stronger, grow taller, have psychic ability, the brotherhood, the Holy Galactic Pact come back and claim you. People who side with people who don't know and eat the food of people that don't know and worry about the things that people that don't know and forget the true values because the Christian minister, the Islamic minister, any minister has told you one thing that is wrong, but all you have to do is spend time with yourself and go inside and you know everything you need to know and even make your contact. That's what you need to do. You need no church. You should be so spiritual that you are the church and everybody joins everybody's church because we all are brethren. You now know who you are. You don't talk who you are. You walk it, you live it, you breathe it, and then you get your contacts. That's how you get it. The planet is changing whether you like it or not. You cannot stride this fence. You're going to have to take a big gamble. They will kill you whether you take the gamble or not. You might live if you do by standing up for something rather than sitting in the seats and listening just to me and then walking on. The fence is long and it is wide. If they put the Great Wall of China to keep the Caucasian people who are humans and animals on that side, and they still got over because they went under. It's like they did in Vietnam. You go underneath the tunnel and come up the underside of your perimeter, and you've been taught to go around with the defense. It's inside, folks, that you must look. But the inner earth people are coming out again. They tell you to look at the moon, where should you immediately look? They tell you to look at the Mars shot, where should you immediately look? They tell you to look at the Saturn shot, where should you immediately look? They send hydrogen warheads to Jupiter and Titan. Where should you immediately look? That's where they're coming up from. That's where they're down there 30 miles deep. That's where they've always been. And beneath them are the good guys. If they can't help you, you help yourself. I've given you so much information in 1 hour's time that you're going to miss some of it, but the right brain forgets nothing. Forgets nothing. There's hope. There is no truth till you decide what truth is. I did not tell you truth. Truth you have to know. I gave you crop circles to awaken your consciousness. I want to do one more thing. I want to read you a poem. You might tell me no, so I'm not going to ask you to read it. I'll ask you to bear with me while I read, and I'll close. I tried to get those people over there across the hall. Went in there and I talked to the brother, and he knew it was time, but he needed that money from the people, and he had some speakers he had to pay. But they have the money. They're going to be the ones that are going to kill you when you lose that money. But they worked too hard for it. I tried. Believe me, I tried. I call it human. Oh, magnificent beasts of